Hi, my name is Ashley, and today I want to talk about praising God through the pain. It can feel really easy and oftentimes more natural to praise God when things are going well in our lives, when we have steady employment, stable income, our social lives are thriving, and our family members are thriving as well. What about when problems arise? What about when we cause the problems ourselves? Oftentimes, that's when it's the most difficult to praise God. It's even more difficult to go to the places that encourage us to praise God. It often is easier to replace praise with pity. But I want to talk about someone who didn't do the latter. His name is Habakkuk. There's not much said about Habakkuk in the Bible other than that very short book in the Old Testament. What can be said about Habakkuk is that his name means embrace or embracer. So with Habakkuk, just to give a little context, he is a prophet and he receives this twofold prophecy regarding Judah and the Chaldeans. And the first portion regarding Judah is that they are going to face violence and oppression at the hands of the Chaldeans due to their disobedience to God. And the second part of the prophecy is the utter annihilation of the Chaldeans through the fall of Babylon, because they are Babylonians. And Habakkuk cries out to God, right? He has this agony and this anguish of the things that he sees in the injustices, the wickedness of the Chaldeans, and their success. They're strong, they're arrogant. They are not righteous people by any means, but they have a strong army, and they are, doing the thing, as millennials may say. I don't know if anyone younger than me, younger than the millennials, say that. I am way out of touch. So he's crying out to God, regarding what he sees, and to make that, personal. Remember when you would see the flood of horrific news cases of injustices that we all know too well. And whether it is things that happen to children, elderly, whatever the case may be, or bring it home even closer, watching your loved ones struggle, jumping in and out of storm after storm after storm, even if it was due to their own actions and decisions, despite how much advice and prayer and fasting and dragging them to church, and they just didn't seem to get it, and you just watched them be oppressed and abused and misused and mishandled by other people, and their disobedience and unwillingness. Remember that moment when it all came to a head for you, when you just couldn't take it anymore. In therapy, I'm a therapist, by the way, we call it vicarious traumatization, right? It's like being traumatized by the trauma you were witnessing or hearing of others and experiencing through others. Remember that moment when you cried out to God and you screamed asking why, and the tears were flooding down your face, and your heart was racing, and you were on the brink of a panic attack, and you just wanted to know why. Why is all of this happening? Why don't the bad guys ever get brought to justice? I imagine that his cry out to God was something like that. That's the background, right, of Habakkuk in the first two chapters. But I want to bring our attention to chapter 3, the part in which he praises through the pain. And I'm going to be reading out of the CSB translation. It's the most modern translation. Chapter 3, verses 17 through 19. Though the fig tree does not bud, and there is no fruit on the vines, though the olive crop fails, and the field produce no food, though the flocks disappear from the pen, and there are no herds in the stalls, yet I will celebrate in the Lord. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation. The Lord, my Lord, is my strength. He makes my feet like those of deer and enables me to walk on mountain high.